Today on Geek Devotions, we're talking about waiting to hear from God and one of the greatest French detectives ever. Hello, Devoted Geeks. Welcome to Geek Devotions, a show from Devoted Geeks who are devoted to letting you know that you are loved. I'm Dallas, with me is
Celeste, and we are so glad that you are with us today. And just in case you were new to our show, just in case you stumbled across us, somebody sent you a video, you randomly found this video in the deep recesses of the dark web. Are we on the dark web? We don't know.
I don't know.
But however you found us, welcome. We are the YouTube show that lets you know that you are loved using geeky and pop culture items.
That's right. So, don't watch past the moment. Know this. We love you. We don't care about you. This is our next episode in the Who Done It Month series, where a month long we're taking a look at Who Done It movies and games. And guys, it's been a lot of fun. And if you haven't watched them, we really encourage you to check out the last several. Why, Celeste?
Because at the end of each episode, there is a clue. A clue that will lead you to a phrase. If you are the first person to guess the phrase, then you will be the winner of a shirt.
True story.
A special, one-of-a-kind shirt.
Yes, it will. So, with all that being said, let's get into today's episode. Recently, I was able to obtain a really interesting game, and that is Agatha Christie's The ABC Murders. Now, it's a bit of an older game, but it was just now released to the Nintendo Switch. And just to warn you guys, I'm a bit of a fan of Agatha Christie's writings. To me, Agatha Christie is one of the best mystery writers of all time. I love Hercule Poirot specifically. Back in the day, there was actually a kind of a TV series of just his stories, and I watched probably most of them. And the ABC Murders was one of her probably best works in my opinion. It's a really interesting story. If you're unfamiliar with it, there's a mass murderer on the loose, and he's killing people in ABC orders. However, there's somebody on his trail, Hercule Poirot. That being said, he actually invited Hercule. Hercule is one of the most famous and most prolific detectives of the time. He's a Frenchman living in 1930s Europe, and he is very, very good at what he does. And this murderer invites him to chase him. So he does. He goes out and he starts to work the case, trying to solve it. What's interesting is that the murderer sends Hercule a warning, says, hey, on this date, at this time, you're going to find a dead body. Come find me. A, B, C. That's how he signs it. So Hercule, obviously, he gets this letter and he's like, I don't know, okay, this is interesting. And then he discovers the first murder. Later, he gets a second letter saying that it was going to take place. And he's, okay, well, we got to figure this out. So he's thinking through these things. His partner, Hastings, is a bit anxious, though. He's like, what are we going to do, Hercule? How are we going to handle the situation? And Hercule says something very strange. He goes, we're going to wait. There's nothing to do. This, of course, disturbs Hastings. Hastings wants to do something. There could be a lot of things that take place between now and then. Somebody will get hurt. How can we just sit back and do nothing? And Hercule says, what is there to do? How can we improve the situation? We must simply wait. So they wait. And sure enough, they get another clue. Something takes place and they have to work the case. And it's really interesting. I don't want to give it too much away because I want to encourage you guys, check out the game. It's actually pretty fun. It's kind of a Telltale style game. Read the book, even better. Or watch the show. That being said, I understand Hastings' anxiety. This waiting for something to happen. This waiting for a next step to take place. It's nerve-wracking, and there's this desire to step in and do something. But sometimes we just can't. In life, we go through situations where we might hit a moment where we have to wait. We have to wait for God to answer. We have to wait for God to make a next move for us to be able to make our next move. And the waiting is agonizing. There's anxiety, there's fear, there's questions about, what if I did this? But what if I did that? I'm reminded of a particular scripture though. Psalms 27 verse 14. Wait for the Lord, be strong, and let your heart take courage. Wait for the Lord. In this passage, the psalmist is reminding the reader that it is hard to wait for the Lord. He understands the anxiety and the fear of going, man, there's this thing that needs to take place. How can I just wait and do nothing? But he says, be strong. Let your heart take courage. Trust in God. Why? Because he knows that when we trust in God, if we really put our full faith in him, that there can be hope. There can be true peace that comes in the situation. And then if we don't step in and try to subvert what he's doing, then we can see the victory that needs to take place. Sometimes in our anxiety, we maybe take a step forward and we try to do something on our own, and it's not what God's called us to do. And honestly, it can muddle things up. In the ABC murders, we kind of see that take place where the press is like, oh, let's put this information out. We need to do something. And it makes things a little bit more complicated for everyone involved. So, don't jump ahead of God. Don't try to get ahead of the game. Trust in him. If he tells you, wait for the season, do it. I know it's difficult. I know it's hard. But be strong. Let your heart take courage. Trust in the Lord. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Geek Devotions. I hope it encouraged you. Maybe it's challenged you. Maybe it's strengthened you as you are waiting to hear from God. Today's question of the week. The week is simply this. Tell us about your favorite mystery video game. I really enjoyed playing the ABC Murders by Agatha Christie. It was fascinating. It was fun. Like I said in the show, I'm a big fan of Hercule Poirot, and this brought me a lot of joy I wasn't expecting to have happen. So leave a comment down below, let us know that. Also, tell us about a time where you were really struggling to hear from God, and you realized that you just needed to wait for his answer, and it was difficult. So leave a comment down below, let us know. Also, I want to let you guys know there will be a review on the video game coming out soon on our website and also on our friend's website, Geeks Under Grace. So make sure you guys stay tuned to those two websites to check it out. And that being said, it's time for the clue. Celeste, what is clue number 3?
Beware the little January man as he spins a web that is easy to sight. For 23 days he brings extra strife to lovers and friends. 2018 Tuesdays he spins, but if you look to the bold, you will find your friends.
All right, guys, that's your clue. So get to cracking, sleuths. All right, and remember, you guys can work with other people, but there's only one t-shirt. That being said, I'd love to hear about your status. Message us privately. Let us know how it's going for you. And if you're just not catching this, it's not too late. Go back, watch the other stuff. We are posting these on Instagram, which is what, Celeste?
It is at Geek Devotions.
Right. We're posting the video on Facebook, which is what?
Geek Devotions.
Right. And we're posting this on Twitter, which is what?
Geek Devotions. We try to make it easy.
We really do. So check all those out. Of course, our website, geekdevotions.com. And until next week, remember,
stay devoted.
Peace and love.